Welcome to Smacky's Garage. Today, we're gonna get the 1969 Mustang running. We're gonna do the first start of spring and make sure everything's good for the upcoming year. Springtime's here. It's finally time to get the car out on the road. And we've done a lot of work to the car over the winter. Up here in New England, we get a lot of snow. So as you're doing the restoration in the car, you really don't get to check anything out until you get it on the road in the spring. So what we're gonna be doing here is we're gonna be checking a lot of the stuff that we've done on the car, and we're gonna make sure that there are no issues. The big things that we've done this year is we fixed the driver's seat. We fixed the lean and the bottom was broken and it was very uncomfortable to sit in. We've put in the correct rim blow steering wheel. So now we should have a fully functioning horn that works on the steering wheel rather than on the centerpiece, on that metal bar that goes across the bottom. We've put it in a stereo. That shouldn't cause anything to have any issues, but we'll make sure everything's buttoned up there. We have added the turn signal scoop. So when we did that, you're doing some wiring, you need to make sure nothing else got affected by that. It shouldn't, but we're gonna double check. And then we did some work around the coolant system, and then we did some work around the fuel system. On the fuel side, we took off the regulator and we spaced it out from the head so that it's not boiling off the fuel anymore when the car shuts down and when the engine shuts down, so it'll be easier to start. We took the cooling system apart to take this off to put the correct connector back on it so that it's connected back to the heater core. When we did this, we lost some coolant, which means it's probably going to be some air bubbles in there, so I'm going to need to add some coolant as we kind of warm the car up. I'm going to get going right now. I'm going to quickly change the oil. We're going to go through and we're going to quickly check the fluids, and then we're going to try to start it up. I'm hoping for a nice, easy start this year. Let's see where we go. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. It really helps. You know, if you like the video, it'll help get recommended to more people. If you subscribe, you'll start to get notifications and see it in the feed as we make progress. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Back to the video. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to quickly get through the changing the fluid part. It's really easy on these vehicles, running your standard FL1A motorcraft filter and then VR1 racing oil. I like the VR1 racing oil because it has high zinc. You know, when we're running something like a flat tappet cam, you want to have some extra zinc in it for extra lubrication so that it doesn't wear itself out. So I'm going to go ahead and swap these quick. So changing the oil in these vehicles is very simple. It's literally one bolt on the bottom that I'm going to take out, let it drain, and then we're going to refill it from the top. I think one thing to note is you can definitely see it dripping some down below. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this bolt off and we'll clean it up. Now the oil filter is going to be right there in front of the engine, so easy to access. So it really shouldn't be too much of an issue. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to let this drain, put the plug back in. So one of the things I'm going to do when I replace this is I'm going to actually try replacing the seal. So I was using this style seal before, which is essentially kind of looks like almost a nylon plug, but I replaced it with this here. So a rubber gasket type seal with an O-ring from Velcro. We're going to see how it works and check if it's not leaking. This probably should be replaced every time you change oil in the car. I've noticed the car oil has been leaking. Underneath the car, you'll see it when we move it. If we get it out, there's a lot of oil on the floor. It's really my first time using one of these style seals, so I'm going to watch it after I put the first quart of oil in it. Now for these older cars, I'll actually fill the filter up. I don't do it on the newer ones, but older ones I do. And it's nice because the filter is vertical, so it's easy to put in place without spilling. So after I get that mostly filled, I'll take a little oil and I'll go around the gasket just to make sure I can snug it up. And I'll snug it up by hand. I think we're right at the add line, so I'm going to add that 6th quart now. Okay, so I decided I was going to run 5.5, start it up, get everything moving throughout the engine, then we'll check the oil level one more time. We're right at the point where we're going to be starting it up. The oil level looks good. The coolant, it's not going to show until until the car gets warmed up. Power steering fluid looks good, didn't leak out over the winter. So here we go. So everything is clear of the fan. Looks like everything is hooked up here. Should be powered to the box, so then when I do turn it on, this red light should light up. Everything is clear of the belts. Nothing is touching the headers. Looks like we're good to go. So starting this up, I'm going to keep my eye on the oil pressure down there since I just changed the oil. We're out of gear. Okay, so I'm going to keep this on here while I watch this. Carbureted car, 2 pumps. Probably no fuel in the carb yet, because I took the lines off. There we go. Oil pressure is good. No gas leaking, no coolant leaking. Seemed to be good. A little bit of leftover coolant, but it's not actively leaking. No oil leaking. We're good. Well, that's it today on Smacky's Garage. Thanks for tuning in. The car is driving. We got it out for a quick drive. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It helps. I'll see you next time.